It's that time again.
What do you say when there are no words? Feel a song that's never been heard. How do you know when you hear the call? What do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, cannonball, cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Ball, cannonball. What do you do when the mountain is there? How do you answer the challenging day? And when your back's against the wall, what do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, cannonball, cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Ball, cannonball. Hey, now cannonball, 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 cannonball.
Yes, indeed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers, and sisters. This is the Apex Online Racing F1 2018 Hype Energy, of course. Season number 16, round number 7 at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. My name is King-Kodiak, and I'll be one of your commentators throughout this evening's race. Joining me in the commentary box, always happy to say, my faithful companion, Mr. Hamish Sopwith.
Yes, good evening, everybody. What an exciting race we should have. It is wet, of course.
It's very wet.
I believe is the first driver out, just in his McLaren. I wonder what he's going to do. I mean, I was going to say before you found out we were in the full wet. Lap times we could see something in a 107. That's not likely to happen now, unless suddenly the sun comes out and the track becomes bone dry. This also very much spices up the strategy for the race, Kodiak. A lot of the drivers would be split between an ultra soft, super soft, or hyper soft start, but now it looks like it's going to be a fairly standard ultra soft to super soft strategy for the race. As Chromatic just comes around turn 10, there's a bit of confusion, as me and Kodiak have been talking off air, about where turn 1 is. If we referred, when I refer to turn 1, it is a braking zone for what I consider turn 1, not that right-hand kink. But you might hear different from elsewhere.
Before we get into, as you can see, it is exceedingly wet in qualifying. Wow, look at that. I'm told it's going to be a dry race, so exactly as Hamish was alluding, just to be a single stop for then on, but it's really... The qualifying order could well be very, very shaky. Wow, Crow! Very, very sideways coming through turn 2. Now, before we get into our qualifying too deeply, we have got some track facts that to throw onto this one, so let's have a look at those. As mentioned, it is season 16, round number 7 of Gilles de Villeneuve, Canada. He's been on the Canada for quite a number of years. That's what it'll look like later. It certainly doesn't look like now. Returns to AOR Hype Energy F1 Canada after missing season 15. Indeed, the odd number seasons tend to be the shorter ones, and so some tracks just don't make the cut. This was indeed one of them. That is the 3 tires we will be seeing in the race itself. Super, Ultra and Hyper Soft. So primarily we would think is going to be the 2 pink and purple compounds. What else can we tell you? Michael Schumacher holds the record for the greatest number of wins at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. He won 7 times between 94 and 2004. Lewis Hamilton not far behind now with 6 wins. Of course, the namesake Gilles Villeneuve being the only Canadian to have won at the circuit. What else can we tell you? The Wall of Champions. The list of drivers to have had accidents at turn 13 includes Schumacher, Hill, Jacques Villeneuve, of course, Button and Vettel. So we will see who comes a cropper. But that's the nature of the track, though. You've got to push the limits. You've got to get exceedingly close to every single wall, and they are exceedingly unforgiving when doing so. 2009 Williams driver Robert Kubica took the first ever F1 victory by a Polish driver in 2008 race, a year after he had survived a horrendous accident at the circuit. Anyone that has been watching F1 for a while no doubt remembers him barreling off towards the hairpin with very little car left. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah, pretty horrific accident, but like you say, it's a street circuit in the sense that, you know, you got to use all the track. Although there are small runoff areas in certain points. There's certain sections where Tornisa is, who is also our current pole sitter, 19.5, where, you know, like where he is at the moment, the Wall of Champions, there's no margin for error. Although they very much flatten those curves. Wow, nice lap from Kramat, 18.9, a considerable amount of time. And wow, Tornisa's just gone even quicker by a tenth. But, you know, they have actually flattened the last chicane before the Wall of Champions, so you don't get this hideously violent. But it's not a track you want to be, you know, you don't want to be cutting it, though, because otherwise you're going to get a penalty.
Indeed. 16 drivers with us this eve. We were alerted before the race. We were actually expecting 15, so we got a bonus driver in with us. A few drivers couldn't make it, unfortunately. That's real life getting in the way. But that is not going to stop some amazing racing coming with us. Look at that. Even in these torrential conditions, the top 4 within 3/10. Tornisa leading the way. Chromatic second. Carrington third. And Wycombe's fourth. Now, we have been sort of given a bit of a tip that this track could be a bit of a penalty fest, as although in the dry it'll be a bit easier for people to stick to track. They've just got to push that hard with very little margin for error. Oh, as Chromatic takes out one of the braking boards. Wow, and then goes sliding sideways towards the Wall of Champions. Does he improve from his time? No, he does not. So he looks to be... We'll see how he does. Oh, Tornisa does. By 11 thousandths of a second he improves. Wow. And you've got to think...
Any time is good time. I mean, we've seen how close some of our qualifying sessions have been. Maybe that's the difference between pole and second.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, in these conditions, I mean, you know, the 2 Renault drivers are really storming this season of Daniele Haddad and David Tornisa.
Oh, what a lap time by Haddad.
Speak of the devil!
Coming across the line, 57 thousandths off Tornisa's lap time. Great lap by him. That was a 118.918 for any of you who can't see that. So good lap by the other Renault driver.
Oh, that's a stunner. Two drivers yet to get a time on the board, Slick and Mark. We'll see where they slot in, but wow, what an absolute...
Put a lap time in, not particularly quick, and Mark is currently on a hot lap, I think. Yes, he is.
We'll follow him through then as he's coming through. Oh, I need to get my map up, sorry. That would be through 8-9. He's just come through and then heading down towards the hairpin of turn 10. And you can see how much water there is around. They're not messing around with it. You know, they don't go to the full width unless they absolutely have to. And no one has dared to run into us. Through 11 and 12 onto the long back straight. We'll see. This will be the primary place for overtaking, and he's pulled over and that's Haddad through. Is Haddad improving?
Sure. He's going fairly quickly. He's negotiated the last chicane quite well. It's a 15, 16 or 17, 18.
Oh!
He does improve by actually, well, not a considerable amount, but about 0.7 of
0.07
hundredths of a second. So, and Tornisa is braving the intermediate tyres, I believe.
Trust someone to as soon as I make that statement,
Chromatic
someone.
as well.
Oh, are we? Well, there's plenty of time left in the session, so if they feel that the wets are not giving them any particular grip advantage, then why not, I suppose? And F. Freischneider, that's VP Smash, otherwise known as. I hope I'm getting that pronunciation correct.
Sounded pretty good to me, Kodiak. I must admit, I was looking at my freaking iPad today.
That's what I'm running with. So again, if it is wrong, I do wholeheartedly apologise. But F. Freischneider is VP Smash. He is again. Yeah, we're seeing quite a few people having a crack at the intermediates. I suppose now is the time to do.
Looking good, Kodiak. He's out on track at the moment in the first sector. Just come through 3 and 4, coming up towards 6 and 7 now, and it looks like he has a grip. I was thinking that the rain was just lightening up just a little bit. I mean, we'll find out very, very quickly if he is able to improve or not. But more and more drivers are going onto the intermediate tyres. Whether it will dry up enough for even a driver to try it on a dry compound tyres towards the end of the race, we will find out. But we can't see as many puddles. So especially, let's look at the hairpin. You can't see as many puddles. There's the odd puddle on the outside, but it's not like it's not like a lake. So Chromatic coming down back straight up towards the chicane, 13 and 14. He gets a braking zone nicely. It's really important to start a lap. Obviously, if it was normal conditions, he'd had DRS. He doesn't on this occasion. He's put his ERS up to the max. That's setting number 5, qualifying mode, into turn 1. Pretty solid. Just a little bit too deep, maybe. You would have wanted to get a slightly earlier braking and turning, I think. Sliding, almost drifting up towards 3 and 4. Again, mediocre at best. Hitting the wall on the outside. It's not that quicker lap time. I think we'll be able to see him improve as on his next flying lap. Through 6 and 7, pretty decent exit. You don't want to get too far off to the left-hand side because it's very easy to put the car into the wall. Coming under the bridge, which is where you want to be braking, gets that quite good. You want to brake really early there so you can get the car turned in and rotated up towards the hairpin of turn 10. Again, in the dry conditions, you can brake much later, and he's actually got that pretty well. Often you'll see the driver short shifting, and he's very much doing that. Coming up towards the chicane now, it's just a case of it's a very long back straight. It's about 1,190 meters, so it's long enough to get some overtaking done as well if you're in the right position. Up through the wall of champions, it's looking quick, and it's going to be considerably quicker than what we've seen before. It's a low 18, but Daniele Haddad and Tornisa are going to be hot on his tail very, very soon. That's a very good lap time by Chromatic. Haddad is on an out lap. Tornisa's actually coming, I believe, up to the end of his lap, and yes, he is. I wonder what he can do. He's coming across the line any second now. It is an improvement. It's not better than Chromatic's time. He was able to set a 1 minute, a 1 minute 18.3, so he did go about half a second quicker, but not quite quick enough. I wonder what White the Ferrari can do, because he's just came off that final hairpin, coming down the back straight. It's not looking particularly fast, but he is going to hopefully improve on what he's done. He was about a second down beforehand, and Matt Sorensen, he's got himself up into third place, and White Lilac is in the pits after obviously not being happy with his lap. Of course, he was also on the wet compound tyre, so no surprises there. All the drivers seem to be on the intermediate tyres where they can. Whether we'll see some of the guys come in, so we can get one more lap on fresh tyres, we are yet to find out. Torniza came off a final hairpin and coming towards the chicane. Let's see what he is going to be able to do, Kodiak.
Indeed. A lot of people then. Only White Lilac not yet. Oh, no sooner do I say that, he's decided to switch to the inters as well. The rain really has lightened up. What does Tanisa do? Oh! Of course he does. He goes and sticks that on the pole. 1:17.807. Oop! As he comes out right in the path of the Williams. That's either Carey or Timp. No, that'll be Carey, because Timp is... oh, no, bigger pardon, that will be Timp, as Tim is listed as outlap. Whereas Carrington... Oh, hello, nobody from in the Toro Rosso, 1:17.755.
I think we're going to see the... Sorry, Cody, I think we're going to see the times really tumble now as the track gets drier. It could be that the fact Tornisa's lap time, it was very quick at the time, but it could be a couple of seconds off the pace in 4 minutes time.
Yep, it's going to be last man over the line that is going to be that's going to look the strongest here.
Tornisa took quite an interesting line. It's not going to count this lap. It's obviously in a hurry to get back into the pits, but he very much straight line turn 8. I don't think that's completely legal, but well, if anyone has anything to say about it, the stewards will find out through whichever sources they use. So, presumably he's coming into the pits and not starting another lap. Yes, he is, for a fresh set of tyres. This is where you want the fresh grip, so you can really maximise, especially if the track's drying out. Your intermediates get very, very hot indeed.
VP Freshnader coming over the line. Is he going to improve? Up to fourth. Just 0.3 shy. It's him putting a 1:18.045R. Track record, I believe, is actually by Formula Danny of 1:10. Of course, that's not going to be challenged right now, but we should see that, as we've seen historically, that the lap record does tend to be pretty decimated from last season's lap times. Who else can we have a look at? That's Haddad. He's on low fuel. Carey up to fourth now. Very Carrington also getting into the 1:17s. 1:17.937. Oh, slick. And then jumps into fourth as well. Wow, that is getting close. Look at that.
In the top 5, isn't it? Wow, not even 2 tenths separating the top 5. That's not a big gap between each driver. So
just over 3 tenths for top first to 7th. So but it's all going to be down to the race, of course. If the race is bone dry, as I've been informed, then it's going to be how those that would normally be up front quite comfortably, they may well have to battle their way through. Because the 2 Renault guys, Tanisa and Haddad, are still towards the sharper end. Oh, it's could well shake up the grid. We've got less than 2. Oh, hello, Tino. Now Corinen.
Wow,
Williams 10.
Job.
Wow, that's a fair chunk of time he's found. He's got himself a 10th clear of nobody. 1:17.653. And down it comes again. Jan failing with the McLaren. 1:17.581.
He just set all the sectors alight purple in pretty much every single sector, Kodiak. And
very
that is
nice.
A sign that the track is just improving, lap after lap. And at the moment, Tornisa is also going very quick in Sector 1 as well.
Well, slick for Sauber, 1:73.88. Yeah, so this is... And there's another one. There's Crow. Oh, that's close. Between the McLaren and the Sauber. Look at that, 18,000's in it. And then Failer and Timp within the same 10th as well. So, yeah, this is really going to be last man over the line. Daniele Haddad is in the pit, so he will not improve. Oh dear. So Haddad will start no higher than 7th. Freischneider will start no higher than... Well, Freischneider is coming out on track now. He will not make it unless he does some kind of godlike lap to get back to the start finish.
Haddad's... Well, I don't know what he's doing. He's going to try and somehow
do
a lap in 1 minute time. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He's going to have to cut a lot of corners, which is very much going to be frowned upon. He was struggling to get back into the pits, I noticed. Torniza is actually not in a fantastic position either. In fact, no, that's rubbish. He's all right, actually.
Carrey's retired, so he'll start no higher than 9th with that 17.9. Timp again getting the pole spot with that 17.0.
Oh, look at that gap. Wow.
3.5
temps. That is absolutely massive. But bear in mind, the top 10 is only just covered by a second.
Crow again, now getting in the 16s. 16.743. So what they've done is they've just given themselves a load of fuel and trying, and oh dear, that's Matt Sorensen right in Crow's face there.
He's going to cross the line any second now. Is he going to get the pole? No, he isn't. He's a 10th off. He's only just off, but it's off. It's a 16.9. Can he improve? He has fuel for this lap, Kodiak. Let's see what he can do.
Let's ride on board then with David Tanita through turns 3 and 4, then over to the wall, get through the twisty section, turn 5, now to 7, beg your pardon, 6 and 7. Chromatic gets the pole spot with a 1:16 at 7.43.
So quick is Tunisia, quicker than he was before by a few thousandths.
Streaming on then towards 8 and 9. Yellow flags out there for some reason, so someone's had an incident there. Oh, I saw who there was. I think it was Matt Sorensen in the Force India. His car buried on the right-hand side, and that is Chromatic's McLaren. It's retired on track. Failure's retired as well. So Mark, nicely done. 1:16.906 jumps up into second through 10, 11, and 12 onto the back straight.
He's got to do it, Kodiak, I think he's got to do it. He's 3 tenths up in the second sector.
Oh, it's going to be close.
Tunisia breaking at 100 metres, negotiating the chicane pretty well, getting close to the edge of the wall of champions. He's done that well, still covered by yellow flags, coming across the line. Is it going to be within a 15? No, it isn't. It's a 16 forward. It gives the Renault driver another pole for Renault Sport Formula 1 racing team.
By 3.5 tenths again. My God, talk about well-timed from David Tanita. Oh, that was a stunner, well played, but again, well driven by our other drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Good time. A 16.4 by David Tanita. That's just over 3 tenths faster than Chromatic. Then you have VP Mark in 3rd place for Haas. Tim, he'll be pleased with that. I think P4. Photon in P5, White Lilac in P6, Slick in P7, Vito in the first of the Red Bulls in P8, Jan Fehler in P9, and
Freischneider
in P10. Thank you, Kodiak. Garrick's in P11. Nobody who was at one point right up there. He's only in P12. Haddad. He's going to be very disappointed to be 1.5 seconds off his teammate. In P14, you have Caraton. He's a very quick driver, although he didn't show that performance last week without practice. Mad Sorensen in P15, and Wycombs bring up the rear with a 1:19.1 in P16. Let's see what he can do. Maybe something interesting on the strategy. Now, I want to talk about strategy, Kodiak. I wonder what the tires the drivers are going to start on. It'll be probably the ultra softs, but they might even decide to start on the super softs and go long into first stint.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if a few people chance the hypers. And look how cloudy it is. So
it is very cloudy, so we may even get rain towards the end of the race.
That'll be interesting. But we will see. We don't know. Haven't been informed on that. I was told dry race, but that does look awfully cloudy. Unless the clouds are just going to disperse. We will see. As our drivers then going through their various setup changes. None of them want to run their wet setups they just run. I'm not entirely surprised. So,
although Park Fermi applies Kodiak.
Oh, good point. Yes.
Whatever setup they were using, presumably they were all set up for a race, which might be why we have the likes of Haddad are very much out of place. I mean, I think it was a bad judgment anyway because the track was getting so much quicker. But
It's ultras and supers across the field.
interesting.
So White Lilac, Gerrix, Haddad, Carrington, and Wycombs all running the super soft tyres. Everyone else on the ultras. No one having a crack at the hyper softs. Then maybe no one is confident of the performance of that tyre. So we will see then how that transpires as Tanitsa leads the field through the track as they are coming through 8 and 9. Chromatic's not wanting to. If Wycombs had a problem.
King-Kodiak.
Wycombs has weirdly fallen a bit. Maybe he was a bit slow off the back. He seems to be very slow for some odd reason.
He clearly wants to make sure everyone's at a disadvantage with a tyre temperature. But this is where you realise how short the track is. It's only 2.7 miles long, or 4.4 kilometres. And we see Tornese already, at very much of a back end of the track. All the drivers trying to get the right temperature in the tyres. It's very important to get a good outside, and even more important to get a good core temperature, because that can drastically affect your first stint in the race.
Here they come, retaking their positions. Of course, when they get close to the grid, they are automatically fed into. That's why some of them are ghosted. As you can see, they are reforming on the line. And Wycombs will be along there. So there he is. That's how odd he fell that far behind the field. But never mind. We'll keep an eye on everybody as they reform the grid. Here we go then. Round number 7 of this season. Here are the lights. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. It is time to wind them up and let them go. A pretty decent start universally across the board. The Renault cutting the McLaren off going into turn 1. And then you can see the Williams. That's Tim doing a move on Mark, trying to get up into third position. You can see just behind. Oh, that is very, very close. He has managed to do it. He's alongside the Haas then. The 2 Ferraris already behind. Who is anyone going to have a particular problem? Everyone seems to have got through. So far, so good. Garrix and nobody swapping position back there in 11th. But looks like everyone has managed to keep all the necessary parts. Oh no, has Carrington had a problem? No, he's just fallen to the turn of the field. Pretty good start from Wycombs there. Looks like everybody has made it. So far, so good.
Yep, absolutely, very clean. Just what we like to see is all the drivers come up towards a hairpin. This is where they all get very bunched up. It's sort of like the Grand Hotel hairpin in Monaco, but less glamorous, as Chromatic almost locks up into the back of Tornese. Luckily, he doesn't. Him in P3, he's up 1 position. Mark is obviously down a position in his Haas. The drivers won't have DRS until lap 3. So you have this lap and the next lap of no DRS assistant. And Tim just got a phenomenal exit off the chicane. Is he going to have a look at Chromatic around the outside? Surely not breaking onto the grass. He's now onto the runoff area. He doesn't want to come onto the track and wipe someone out, and he doesn't quite. He almost runs the Haas out of road, though.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. He just went way too deep into turn 1, and that is Mark falling to Photon. Great opportunity to move by the Ferrari. Oh my goodness, White Lilac throwing his car on the inside of turn 5.
Damage, huge damage.
Oh my goodness, what on earth happened there? White Lilac, that was a very strange move there, and the Haas has come off much worse, falling to the tail of the field. Actually, Wycombs has had a problem. He's come through the pits. Oh no, front wing assumedly on the Red Bull, but oh dear, trouble in the midfield.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Mark and the other Ferrari, was it a Ferrari?
Yes, White Lilac Ferrari, yeah.
They obviously had, well, whatever happened, White Lilac was very opportunistic, I must admit. I'm surprised he went for that move. And it looks like he's sort of a very unsettled Mark's car, and then it's just nothing he could do. It just oversteered into the wall. Tanitsa with the fastest lap on lap 3. This is where the drivers will have DRS, so Chromatic will have a chance to overtake for the lead this lap if he stays under a second. Basically, you have to be within a second to have DRS, and the DRS detection on this track is just after turn 9, so it's not at where turn 12 is. It's at turn 9. So even if you fall...
Oh, Vito! Sorry, Hamish. I was watching Vito as he was really challenging Jan Fader, and he just stuck the tail into the wall. And and then under pressure from he's had to bail on turns 8 and 9. He's straight line that one, so he's going to lose a few positions there. And then he's got Garrix closing in on him. Oh, that went horribly wrong, horribly quickly. And wow, that got very clumsy coming through turn 10, the hairpin. Still a lot of close quarters racing going on towards the tail of the field. The front guys have spread out a little bit, although Jan Fehler is now on the back of Slick. We've lost Mark due to that earlier incident, but look at this. Freischneider challenging nobody, and again,
Kodiak,
Vito.
you might see a change for the lead as Chromatic had to look at David Tornitsa, but it wasn't quite able to make it work. I did think he was going to pull alongside with DRS, but he doesn't. Sorry about interrupt.
Not at all, not at all. I think we're going to be cutting over each other. You tolerate me often enough, so it's about time you cut me off as well a few times. Yeah, Jan Fehler is really pressuring Slick for 5th position. You've seen Crow really a push for the lead, and we've lost Carrington. Oh no, what has happened to him? He's had an incident on track. Mark actually brought his car back to the pits to retire it, so we've lost one of the Williams pair. So trouble for that particular team then, and Crow didn't have a good run out of turns 8 and 9, lost a little bit of time to Nita, and there's Timp lurking in the background on the pair of them to pick up any pieces, but great effort from the McLaren to really challenge the front-running Renault. There you see Photon, who's completely clear of everybody, so he could really bear down on the top guys. Slick has got Jan Fehler for company, as you can see. Now the DRS is going to come into play. Can the McLaren do anything about it before they get to the chicane? He's going to be too far back for that, and indeed he is. Comes past the wall of champions, and Freischneider gets a warning. We've seen a few incidents involving him, and there goes Jan Fehler going on the inside for turn 5 into turn 1. Can he do anything on the outside of 2? Oh, it's a risky one, but no, he falls back into play. The sun's now coming out as Haddad is down in 11th. Garrix, well, he's challenging Garrix for that 10th position, but he's gone for the harder tyre, so he's on a very different strategy to his teammate. But there is racing throughout the field. That's what we like to see. It's very difficult to keep up with all of it.
Yeah, Carrington seemingly came to the pits to fix wing damage, and then possibly put on intermediate tyres. And then I think that was kind of the final straw, because he just thought that there wasn't any point continuing on those
3
tyres.
wide. Sorry, Amos, a 3 wide, and goodness me, Matt Sorensen kind of lost out on that one. They were 3 wide coming through 8 and 9. That was always going to go horribly wrong. Haddad now up into 10th position. White line through to 11th. Garrix goes down to 12th, and Matt Sorensen then kind of fell off that particular battle, and Wycombe's doing what he can to close back in the battle. Let's jump back up front as Slick and Fader have just swapped position. I see that'll be on the back straight under DRS. It is indeed. The McLaren now up into 5th position, and the Williams is still hanging on to the back of this McLaren Renault battle. So Tunisia seems to have a bit of pace over the McLaren, but the McLaren does seem to read him in the corners.
Yeah, I would say Chromatic is... he does actually have some good straight line speed when he's in that slipstream. In fact, to be honest, I'd say that the Renault and the McLaren seem fairly even on pace, and the Williams of Timp is doing a great job to be able to hold on to the back as well. Although Chromatic did slam that barrier rather hard last lap, and now the DRS detection zone is pretty much at this Rolex bridge just here. So this is where his detection zone. He's got the DRS now. He just needs to wait until turn 12, which is sort of, this is considered turn 11, where this bridge here is turn 12, and this is also where he gets the DRS, where he's a little bit too far back to try anything. Potentially, Williams or Timp has got more of an opportunity on the McLaren ahead. Depends how he gets through the chicane and Wall of Champions, which he did all right, but it looks like it's going to be single file into turn 1.
Yeah, but Tunisia did feel the need to defend into that turn, as the other Renault of Haddad has just lost a position to Wide Lilac. That'll be on that back straight as well. Look at that 4-car train. Wide Lilac, Haddad, Mad Sorensen, and Garrix. Oh, the Force Indy going a bit deep coming into turns 1 and 2. We've got Freischneider on the back of ACR, well, formerly ACR Nobody, coming. Well, that's actually a several car train that starts with Jan Fehler in the McLaren, then Slick in the Sauber with Nobody in very short succession, and then the second Sauber of Freischneider and Vito in at the tail of that particular field. So there is once again battling here and there. The only person that probably isn't in a battle, with the exception of the Wycombes at the tail, is this man Photon, who is slowly but surely, as I say, that he locks up into that last turn. There's Vito getting his name on the penalty board. Oh, and that's Timp then staying within DRS range of the McLaren. The McLaren staying in DRS range of the Renault. This battle is going to go on quite some time, I suspect.
Yes, I would have thought so. I mean, Chromatic's current results have not been brilliant, in all fairness. He's currently...
Williams and... Timp and Chromatic.
Wow.
Side by side through 2. And Haddad's in the pit, so his race is getting even worse. Oh, contact between the Williams and the McLaren. And they remain where they are. Tim does manage to get up into second position, but that's actually dropped both of them out of DRS range of Haddad, of Tunisia rather, and Photon is very nearly within DRS range of the pair of them.
Yeah, well, I was actually going to say Chromatic's best results at the moment is a P5 in Bahrain and a P6 in Spain. So, you know, he's definitely, well, P3 will do him a world's good in the championship. So let's hope he can hold on. And I'd say Photon is also slowly closing into these guys, Kodiak.
Yeah. And Haddad's had a wing change because he's now behind Wycombs. We just saw from that camera angle the next pack of cars is Jan Fehler and crew. Jan's actually broken free of DRS from nobody, so the second McLaren could then start to try and close in on Photons. We just saw the back of that particular train. Oh, it's going to... And we're only on lap 8, so this is going to go on for a while. This is fabulous.
Yeah, it sure is. We love it when the battles are like this. Chromatic going a little bit wide into turn 1, and he's just about brought the car back, but it would have cost him a couple of tenths of a second.
We've lost Sorensen. We've lost Matt Sorensen. Sorry again, Hamish. Unfortunately, we can't jump to the car that we've lost. So I'm going to see if Wycombs can see what's happened to Sorensen. Although he was a little way off the back of him. Where did Sorensen...
in pits, it looks like, Kodiak.
Oh, no. So, yeah, he did indeed. So another one gone. At this rate, everyone will be scoring points. It's so now down to 13.
Yeah, a bit of a shame, but this track is so difficult, though. You know, it's so easy to make a mistake. It looks like nobody's got himself a penalty. In fact, he's actually got 2 lots of penalties. It's currently nobody, Frey Schneider with 6 seconds of penalties, Vito with 3 seconds of penalties, and Matt Sorensen with 6 seconds of penalties.
Tim has broken clear of Chromatic as far as DRS is concerned, although if there was a bit of damage caused on the McLaren due to that altercation, that could be why, as Chromatic has fallen into the clutches of Photon. There you can see Jan Fehler is doing what he can to close in on the Ferrari. Vito and Freischneider swapping position. That looked like it was actually through the chicane onto the wall of champions. That would be impressive. But still, the whole field is separated by really not very much, considering how far into the race we have come. Vito doing what he can to try and hang on to the back of Slick. What tyres? The top 9 are on. Oh, Vito gets himself another penalty. This is exactly what we were warned would happen early on. Indeed, looked like Carey did accidentally go on to those intermediate tyres. But the top 9 and Wycombs and Haddad all on ultras. The only people on super softs at the moment are White Lilac and Garrix. A few people having their strategies changed. Chromatic has got his name on the penalty board. That could really shuffle up the top order if that remains like that towards the tail end. So there is a lot to play out yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim's doing a really good job of, one, being able to overtake Chromatic in the way he did, which I thought was very impressive, and 2, being able to get onto the back of the Renault of David Tornisa. Tim, as we know, he's an extremely quick driver. Hasn't always shown it so far this season. He's, had a mediocre 5th place in Australia, and after that he hasn't scored a point. So any points for Tim is going to be good. And so far, so good for Tim Garrix. Also getting a penalty as well, 3 seconds. So Tunisia leading the race with Tim behind, Chromatic in P3 with that penalty. Photon in P4 with Haddad getting himself on the fastest lap time board, and Fat Photon is very close behind Chromatic. Is he going to be able to snatch 3rd place? We will find out very shortly as they enter the DRS zone.
Indeed, Freischneider is really pressuring Vito as well. That's for 8th, and Slick is not too far ahead of the pair either. There you can see nobody who is out of DRS range. As you can see, Freischneider nearly pushing Vito through that hairpin. Big amount of wheel spin coming off.
Sorry, Kodiak. Photon on the inside of Chromatic into the hairpin. And wow, Chromatic just dives into a pit. That almost takes Photon out of the race, but luckily it does not. That's the danger of this pit lane. And David Tuniza in as well.
Yeah, David Tuniza, what's he got? It's super softs for the Renault. I would imagine anyone pitting now is going to do the same. Chromatic, what does he do? It's supers for him. Freischneider is in as well. Yep, super softs for him. Interesting. It's super softs for the Sauber as well. So that is not a particular surprise. Let's go back to the battle for Vito and Slick, which is now for 6th. But I would imagine that's going to cause a bit of a stampede for all of the super soft runners ultra soft runners rather, to get rid of those starting tyres. There we see White Lilac just behind. He's actually a super soft runner, so he's probably been gaining ever so slightly, slowly but surely on this particular battle. Vito again on the penalty board. He's going to be careful. There will come a point where, well, the penalties will just usurp him from wherever he sits. But that's going to be 9 or 12 now for Vito.
For Vito, it is 9.
9.
Although I must admit, I did think he actually cut that chicane, so I'm surprised it gave him a penalty. It looked more like he just got a sort of a solid switchback on Slick, but
Timp is
it
in.
is what it is. Unfortunately, that Slick and Vito are both in.
Photon, Failer, and Nobody have chosen to continue. White Lilac then moves up into 4th. Of course, he on the Contra tyre, so that is going to be absolutely interesting to see how that plays out towards the tail end. Super soft for Timp, Slick, and assumingly going to be Vito as well. His tyres have yet to change. He's not come out there. He's come out on another set of ultras. That's an interesting one. Oh wow, the two Saubers really, really close, side by side, coming out of the pits. Freischneider just slotting behind Slick. Ooh, that could have gotten a little ugly between the two teammates, but they remain as they are, but they're still really pressing on now, coming into turns 6 and 7. Still side by side. That's absolutely brilliant stuff from Slick. Oh, what a move from Vito to slide up on the inside of Freischneider. Coming on the exit of turn 7. What a stunning move.
Freischneider's going to have a go back at him. Will that warrant him a penalty? No, it won't. He would have got a warning for that, though.
Certainly, yeah.
As Freischneider, and he's already got 6 seconds of penalty. So he doesn't want to be doing that too much. He's now behind his Alfa Romeo Sauber teammate.
Oh, and there is Haddad as well, as Tanitsa gets his name on the penalty board. That's not something you see very often, as Nobody and Jan Feder bring their cars in. Let's pick up Haddad on the back of this particular battle. Look at how close the Saubers are. Oops, as Haddad bounces off the wall. And Wycombs is a couple of seconds behind this battle then. So Haddad now has some work to do. Freischneider looking on the inside at turn 1 on Slick. And Vito trying to capitalise on it. Bearing in mind, Vito is on those ultra soft tyres, so he's obviously feeling brave to be able to try these rather unusual moves. But sometimes you have to. I mean, there's not... Oh, Haddad gets his name on the penalty board. That's, again, fairly rare. So that rather backs up what we were told earlier, that this would be a bit of a penalty fest. Photon now leads the race on his ultra soft tyres, so we'll see how long he's able to stay out there for. The two Ferraris are at the top of the table, but so much still to play out. But this battle is absolutely fascinating. You just get the feeling that something's going to happen very, very soon.
Yeah, Photon is into a pit, so I was going to say his tyres surely can't last that much longer. And to be honest, these super soft tyres realistically will only last to 15 to 17 while having some decent grip. You can really stretch them, and you could probably do like 25 odd laps, but ordinarily 15 to 17 is the cutoff for a good strategy.
The Sauber's so close, so very close.
Wow.
Tim's still within within a second.
Having a look on the outside of both Saubers. Surely he's going to take out Freischneider. Yes, he does. And it looks like the Saubers collide because of Vito as well.
Oh my goodness.
That was a pretty poor judgment by Vito. Freischneider has a small amount of wing damage, but not much. But he's not going to be concerned about that. He's going to be more miffed off that Vito.
Oh dear.
Sort of didn't help his race exactly by taking him out.
Wycombs has now got Freischneider. Well, he's actually in between the two Saubers, but they are. Imagine I've got a fair amount of.
Sauber sandwich.
Yeah, Sauber sandwich. Yeah, absolutely. Up front though, Tuniza on the back of Gerrits. Of course, bearing in mind that Tenisa's got much fresher tyres than the Mercedes. He's absolutely flown past. Goodness me. Left Garrix for dead. Garrix had no answer to that at all. Tim's fallen a little way off the back of that particular battle, so he's got some catching up to do. Maybe he's going to get a bit of DRS off of Garrix at some point, but hopefully the Mercedes isn't going to hold up the Williams too much. Wide Lilac is 1.8 ahead of that particular battle. There he is at the top of the shot, you can see. So there is still work for these guys to do as, Wycombs has just lost the position to Slick along the start-finish straight. So there is racing to be had in Slick Scarborough. Of course, Wycombs on 14-lap old Ultras. Any wonder he's struggling. Wow. Goodness, they must be down to the canvas by now. And
what a beautiful slow code. Tim just pulled off a beautiful move. It's very much a switch back on Garrix. I know Garrix's cars are much, much older, but it did look really nice.
He didn't want to be stuck behind the Mercedes for too long, and he is indeed up to third now, but he's out of DRS range of the Renault. So the Renault doesn't have DRS on the Ferrari either, so they will just drag all the way down the back straight. Garrix does have DRS on the back of the Williams, but is too far back realistically to do anything. Is he going to pit now? I would imagine he's going to carry on. He does indeed. So he is continuing. Who else can we look at? Everyone else is not in immediate DRS range, although Fader is getting close to Photon. He's really getting close to that DRS as well.
Vito's going to have a look on Wycombs, and that's move pretty much done.
Surely Wycombs is in. Yeah, Wycombs is in. Another penalty for Vito. Goodness me. He's wanted to collect them all. That's not how penalties work. You don't want them, but there we go. And there we go.
Don't get points for penalties in this game.
No. Tenisa is on the back of White Lilac now. This is for the race lead. Although, of course, White Lilac on a different tyre strategy, but they, those that started on the Supers will be on the fresher, softer rubber towards the end, so don't discount them as yet. Coming through, turn 10 into the hairpin. Surely now the Renault is going to blast past the Ferrari. Oh, a big moment of wheel spin there for Tenisa. Coming out of the hairpin. DRS open for the Renault. Puts the another 3-second penalty for Vito. He's White Lilac going to defend it. He does indeed. Tenisa doesn't get the move done yet. Another dose of, bouncing off the wall of champions. And here he goes. DRS open on the inside towards turn 1. And that is job done. That is race lead for Tenisa.
Yeah, pretty good. Tim is also doing quite well. He's been able to manage that gap. He's about 1.5 seconds behind Tenisa at the moment. So let's see if he can close that. He also obviously needs to overtake White Lilac on those super soft compound tyres. He'll probably be coming in within the next 5 laps, I would have thought, with a Ferrari driver.
Here they come. They're streaming on down towards turns 8 and 9. And of course, Tim is going to get a good old dose of DRS. Now, if he can clear White Lilac before he gets to the start-finish straight, he will still have DRS available to him. He's getting ever so much closer to that crucial 1 second off the back of Tenisa. Good drive out of that hairpin for the Williams. DRS for White Lilac. DRS for Tim. Oh, what's Tim going to do? He's going to get very close coming to the chicane. He had to really hit the anchors hard there. Wow, big snap of oversteer for Lilac. Surely we're going to see a repeat of what we saw last lap from Tenisa on White Lilac. There goes Tim on the inside of turn 1. I doubt that White Lilac's going to... Yeah, absolutely. The White Lilac knew that one was done. There was no point in him defending that. But that puts Tim ever so slightly out of DRS range. But he is gaining on Tenisa. And we're barely over halfway in this race.
I'm very impressed with how Tim has performed this race. Bearing in mind, Tenisa, he's got 4 victories at the moment. Don't count him out for this one. Tim hasn't had a victory this season. Like I said, he only had that 1/5 place from Australia, so he's driving very, very well in this Williams to try and get the win. And also, Tenisa has that 3 seconds penalty.
So yes.
So in theory, Tim is 2.7 ahead of Tenisa.
Chromatic on the back of Garrix. Now Garrix is on rather second-hand super softs, so he's going to struggle to keep the McLaren behind. McLaren on much, much fresher super softs. That is going to be a pretty... And look at that. You can see ahead the 3 we've been talking about. Tenisa, Tim, and White Lilac. White Lilac is in. So those super softs didn't last much longer. Well, it's about 5 laps longer than the Ultra Softs. That's possibly a little unfair initially, but yeah, he's pitted at probably a predictable point, but he's going to be on the Ultra Softs then. So keep an eye out for him when he comes out. Chromatic. Out, Freischneider. And he's out. Freischneider has retired. That's another one gone. 12 cars remain as Chromatic just skims the wall as he continues to chase Garrix. Of course, in the dirty air, you lose the crucial downforce. He's going to get a lovely switchback maneuver on the Mercedes as he's going to stream on down towards turns 7 and towards 8 and 9, beg your pardon. And that is job done for the McLaren. Nice textbook move. And Garrix gets himself a 3-second penalty to really throw himself out of that battle. And there comes Photon as well to try and relieve the 4th position from Garrix. Here we go again. DRS on that back straight. And not too far behind is actually the second McLaren, Jan Fehler. He's only 1.5 behind, so he could really get involved in the next few laps. And Jan is on similar strength tyres to Chromatic and Photon. Oh, Photon having to think about it. And Garrix flies off into the pits for his scheduled stop. That's fair enough. So that leaves the Ferrari to fight the 2 McLarens around him. And there's a battle that could go on for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Timp isn't seeming to gain as quickly on Tunisia at the moment. Whether he's just lost a little bit of pace or just trying to save a bit of fuel. I can actually tell you Tunisia has less fuel than Timp, so that's not a reason. Although he's used a lot less. AORs has David Tunisia. So that might explain Timp's slight lack of pace. Chromatic and Photon, they're 3rd and 4th. Photon hasn't got a penalty vote, whereas Chromatic has that 3-second penalty. It's
going to come down to war of attrition of the penalties. Oh, and again, Photon just glances the wall, and now streaming on down towards the Wycombs. No, that's not going to help your charge to try and get into the points, my friend. But that is the nature of the beast. I mean, he may well be the only one with only 3. And Vito, again, he really does risk being disqualified from this race. Garrix has come out of the pits and he's right with Slick. He's coming into the hairpin now. Slick actually looked like he just let the Mercedes go. But Photon, he gets himself on the penalty board.
Wow.
So, yeah, that could... and nobody gets himself on the penalty board. He didn't want to be left out of proceedings either. Is Timp the only driver not to have a penalty now?
No, it's White Lilac, Slick and Timp are the only drivers not to have a penalty.
3 people left.
So, Vito... no,
Vito's out.
I think he's probably going to retire.
I mean, his penalties would have put him out of the points anyway, so that I rather saw coming. So the only person, and this sounds so disingenuous, but unless we get another retirement, the only person that won't score points today is going to be Wycombs. That sounds really, really disingenuous, and I'm really not meaning it to sound like that, but I'm afraid that is a fact.
Unfortunately, we'll see with the way the penalties have been going.
Yeah.
Someone's got to finish a few laps behind, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Fehler on the back of Photon. Chromatic, Photon and Fehler with very similar amounts of tyre life. They all pitted around about similar kind of time within 3 laps.
Photon has a considerable amount of front wing damage, that is to note, Kodiak.
Oh dear, that's not going to help him. So that's why he's falling off the back of Chromatic. Chromatic in a really strong 3rd at the moment. Fair play to you. Will Fehler be able to do anything coming into turn 1 as they come over the line? Photon doing what he can to defend with the DRS. No, Fehler doesn't get close enough. Bit of a lockup coming through turn 1. But that McLaren is looming very large in the Ferrari's mirrors. Timp just kind of holding station around about 1.4, between 1.2 and 1.4 seconds behind Tunisia, which is exactly where it needs to be. Again, Tim will know, and Vito's left the session, Tim will know that Tunisia's got the penalty. He won't know to what degree, but he will know there's a penalty there. Haddad is reminding people he's still in the race. He's down in 10th after...
Oh, it looks like Fehler's going to have a look at Photon now. Potentially on the outside of turn 8 if he makes this stick. That'll be impressive.
Yeah, he had to bail on that.
Track.
Yeah, he had to bail on that. He would.
Yeah, good decision there. Good decision there. Definitely.
Yeah, that would have been a big old moment if Fehler had just clung to that one, and he couldn't pull back far enough. Again, Photon was still there, so he had to bail on that. So Fehler needs to be careful he doesn't get himself another penalty, but Photon doesn't have DRS. Surely this is going to be a textbook move for the McLaren in the slipstream with the DRS. No, he's going to do it after. Yeah, he's going to do it after the chicane. We've seen it done. He's going to get it done before turn 1. We saw Tunisia do that on the same Ferrari indeed. There he goes inside of turn 1. Pretty textbook move, and that is 4th then for the McLaren. That's real strong performance by the McLaren pair today.
Absolutely, they're not doing a stunning job at the moment in the constructors. They're currently P8 with 46 points, but this will be great because, and also these two McLaren drivers are battling for position. The reason I say that is because they're currently third and fourth with both with 3 seconds of penalty. That includes
Timp! He couldn't hold it. He's got himself a penalty. So that puts him behind Tunisia now, doesn't it? Because Tunisia's only got one penalty.
So, I mean, Timp is aware of Tunisia's penalty, not knowing to what extent. He is aware of a penalty. White Lilac hasn't got a penalty, and nor has Slick at the moment.
Indeed. Oh, and big moment of oversteer there for Failer as he continues to chase after his teammate. 1.3 separates them. No one has DRS off of anybody at the moment, but keep an eye on Tim. Does he choose to... is he now really going to try and turn the wick up to chase Tunisia? Is Tunisia going to just hold station? We will have to see. We are 11 laps from the end now, so in the final half of the race, still plenty of racing to do, but the penalties are really going to shuffle up the order, and Failer is just about to get in DRS range of his teammate. So will the will the McLaren pair swap around, or will Chromatic fight his teammate?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, this is such a short lap. That 11 laps isn't a very long time. Well, in fact, no. It's only about, what we're looking at, Cody, 15 minutes, if that. It's not even best of racing at the moment. A little bit less, probably about 12 and a half minutes of racing left. So, you know, these guys really, they got to get a move on if they want to do something. And Tim he's sort of closing sometimes, and sometimes he loses a bit, but I do think he has the pace. If he turns up the wick just a little bit, I think he can do it. Tunisia has been a little bit better with his ERS management. Garrick's with another penalty that puts him up into 9th. Let's quickly go through the penalties. So everyone from P1 down to P5, that is Photon, have 3 seconds of penalty. Nobody has 9 seconds of penalty. White Lilac has none. Garrix has 9 seconds of penalty. Slick has none. Daniele Haddad has 3, and Wycoms has 3. And then, of course, you have all the retirements after that.
Yes, you must still serve your penalties. Retiring doesn't count.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't carry over to next. Doesn't carry over to the next race.
No, that is true. Well, it's not like, you know, the old qualifying rule. Oh, White Lilac getting himself a penalty.
He's chasing nobody.
Didn't have a penalty, now does.
Yeah.
So is Slick going to be our only driver not to accumulate a penalty? I think he should get a bonus point just for that.
Quite right, absolutely. But White Lilac is chasing nobody, which is always a weird sentence to say. There he goes, flies through on the inside, coming into turn 8. Can he hold it? Just about. That is 6th position then to the Ferrari. Pretty textbook move then, but does nobody have an answer? Let's see, coming through. Let's see what the tyres are.
It's very interesting with the two McLaren boys. How are they going to play this out? They don't want to collide. They really do need the constructors' points. Where is
Jan? Yeah, I was on board with him when he did that.
That is going to be disappointing for him. Maybe maybe Chromatic will sort of let his teammate pass for that reason. Failer has got more points than Chromatic. Failer is currently on 28 points, whereas Chromatic is on 18. So there is a 10-point difference between the two McLaren drivers at the moment.
We will see. We will see as the lap count continues to tick down. Tunisia is stretching his lead ever so slightly, little by little up front. 1.6 now separates the Renault and the Williams, but we've seen how quickly the penalty count can ramp up, so that could change in an absolute heartbeat. Again, White Lilac on nobody. That battle was over pretty quickly as White Lilac's on very fresh. Well, that really didn't hammer the nail in the coffin with another penalty then for the Toro Rosso. But the Ferrari, the White Lilac, has got ultra softs, very fresh ultra softs on his car, as does Garrix and Haddad. So that's how that battle ended. So soon here comes Failer. He's holding station. He didn't choose to go for Chromatic on that occasion. Is he going to choose to go for him this time? Chromatic actually looked like he was going to try and defend. There they go on the inside of turn 1. Does Chromatic try and fight him? No, he again knew that one was done. So Failer now needs to get a 3-second gap between himself and his teammate to hold on to that.
Sorry, Cody, I must admit that did look quite planned, to be honest. That didn't look... the teammates obviously aren't going to run each other off the road. Let's see what Failer can do. I mean, it's very unlikely he's going to be able to catch up with Timp. So if these guys are battling, I suppose, on track. But if Chromatic can stay within 3 seconds, then he has P3, which, both of the McLaren guys will really want. McLaren haven't had a podium this season, so it'll be their first podium if either of them get onto that podium.
The Ferraris are close. Again, White Lilac with those very soft tyres. As Photon just locks up a little bit on the inside, or coming into turn 10, you can just about see, riding on board with White Lilac, you should be able to see the McLaren pair. They are up there somewhere. And Photon is, Photon's bled out of that. Photon has completely let that one go, and fair enough.
Wow.
Different tyre strategies. Photon on much older and harder tyres. That's not a surprise at all. I would have thought that would have been better done on the start-finish straight, but there we go. That's nature of the beast. You make these split-second decisions, as Jan is already 1.4 ahead of Chromatic. But if Chromatic is going to try and back off to allow Jan to build up that 3 seconds, he's going to put himself right in the clutches of White Lilac. If White Lilac's got...
do that.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that also White Lilac can't have much life left in those tyres. They're 9 laps old now. We saw people getting rid of those around about lap 12, I think. So he may not have the tyre life to pressure the McLaren anyway.
At the moment, his tyres are actually looking quite solid, believe it or not. They won't be ideal, towards the end of the race. Let's put it that way. Timp is also very, very slowly closing in on Torniza. By about half a tenth to a tenth a lap. So if he keeps up this pace, his tyres are 1 lap younger as well. So that might help a lot at the end of the race, Kodiak.
What about damage between the two?
Damage in terms of
wing damage.
Oh no wing damage. The only person who has wing damage is Photon at the moment in P6.
Okie dokie. For those wondering, we do have access to an application essentially that gives Hamish those details. It's not something we can see from the overlay in front of us, so in case you wonder where we get information on percentages about tyre wear and wing damage, it's a PC app that we run in the background, but it's something that lags the stream to death, unfortunately, if I try and run it. So that's why my co-commentator runs that one and feeds me the information. Tim getting locked up into that final turn. He's doing everything he can to chase off after Torniza, but had a pretty poor run out of the hairpin. He's going to have 5 laps left when they cross the line again to close that gap down. It's 1.5 at the moment, but we'll see. We can't see the warning count, unfortunately. So if drivers are about to get another penalty, we can't see that. That's one thing we don't have access to. Also, I'm keeping an eye on White Lilac, the gap between the Ferrari and the McLaren of Chromatic. It's It's 1.7 now, so we'll see if the McLaren's got to defend before the checker flag falls. I doubt, though, that White Lilac is going to have enough tyres left by then.
I think he might have the tyre life to catch up, but whether he'll have a tyre life to overtake and maintain a potential overtake, I don't think he will. So it's going to be very interesting. As soon as he catches up to the McLaren, he has to overtake. He can't afford to wait 1 extra lap, because that 1 extra lap could be the difference between him coming 5th and potentially 3rd and 4th, depending on what happens with Jan Failer. Although he has pulled a 3-second lead, to be fair, he has. He's done it. Good job from him.
But White Lilac
looks like he's getting 3rd at the moment.
Yeah, but White Lilac's right on. He's actually within DRS range now, and also Garrix is on the back of nobody as well. So there's a battle for 7th that's on between the Toro Rosso and the Mercedes. We'll see if nobody defends that one. But White Lilac now is going to be pressuring Chromatic. There they are. They are. What's the penalty count between these two?
Chromatic and
White Lilac.
They're both on 3 seconds, Kodiak, so it is full position.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Failer, who has 6. Oh. And actually, how White Lilac's been driving, I wouldn't say it's completely out of the question that he won't be able to get on the podium. In terms of tyre wear at the moment, White Lilac is on 38%, and those around him or in front of him are on about 52+%.
Oh, wow.
So there is a potential. His tyres aren't completely dead at the moment. He has DRS, the second lot of DRS.
Oh, wow.
And move done. Good job.
Yeah.
Does he get a penalty from that minor cut? No, he doesn't. He'll be pleased about that. 4.8 of the second is what he needs to gain now to get P3. He won't know this necessarily, but you know, he's got to push until the end.
Absolutely. And Timp, again, he has managed to close that gap ever so slightly. 3 laps to go here at Canada. Will Tenisa hold on for another win? Will the Williams be able to overthrow the mighty Renault? And Garrix and nobody side by side. Nobody got himself a penalty trying to defend, I think, from Garrix coming into the... Oh, look at that. That's Photon in that mixture as well. So Photon's tyres are pretty dead, along with nobody's. And Garrix then's got those fresher ultra soft tyres, much as we've seen from White Lilac as well. Haddad is about 5 seconds behind this battle. He'd be right in there as well if he was closer. Because, again, he on those 12-lap old ultra softs. Coming through into turns 6 and 7. Photon, is he going to try and defend for 3 laps? I mean, the back straight's just too long to defend against someone charging this hard. Nobody with the DRS open. Photon going to the inside to defend for turn 8. Keeps everybody behind.
Nobody has 15 seconds of penalty, whereas Photon only has 3 seconds. So, unless something very strange happens.
Oh, Garrix! Excuse me with my voice.
Wow.
Garrix throws that on the inside of the hairpin. Can he get that one nailed down? Side by side, coming through 11 and 12. There he goes. There is Garrix then. Of course, with the DRS open, the Ferrari doesn't know who to defend against. Is it going to be the Mercedes? Is it going to be the Toro Rosso? Garrix then with a big move coming into the chicane. That's what I rather saw coming. Bounces off the wall. Ferrari then's going to nudge ahead, but the Mercedes has DRS. Can he defend into turn 1? Will Photon jump back up into that position? No, that is 6th position.
Nobody on the inside of a Ferrari as well. They've moved up. He puts a Ferrari into a wall. It's Photon, and I think nobody might feel... No, he doesn't feel bad because he's just taking a position back.
Wow.
Timp, look how close Timp is, Kodiak. 1.1 seconds toward Tornisa. He has to gain 0.1 of a second to have a chance of DRS. White Lilac is right on the cusp of getting P3 as well. Just 3.2 seconds behind Jan Fehler.
Great stuff, but Timp only has one more lap to do to be able to close in on the Renault. Tenisa only has one more lap to to defend for. Wycombe's getting another penalty. Sadly, he does look like, unless somebody throws it away in the dying moments of the race, he will be the only man not to score today. It is a great shame to say that about any of our drivers, to be fair, but it's the nature of the beast. But here we go then, keeping an eye on our lead battle through turns 3 and 4. The Williams just grazing the wall into 6.
Sorry, Kodiak. White Lilac is under that 3-second.
He is.
Now, will his tyres hold on? They're still in pretty good condition compared to the guys on the Supersoft. Somewhat of a strategy genius by White Lilac, I would say.
Oh, Timp is really struggling as he again just grazes the wall, keeping that forward momentum now into a big lockup then for the Williams. It does look like Tenisa, unless he has a blowout or something on that back straight. All looking good then for another Renault victory. As Tim's backed off at this point. Fuel lights on, of course it will be at this point. He's got no ERS left. And that is job done then. So your winner here in Montreal on the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve is the Renault of David Tenisa. He's happy about that. Second is going to be Tim. Great effort from him. Over the line in third, he's going to be the McLaren of Jan Fehler, but that is going to go to, when the penalties shake out, it's going to go to the Ferrari of White Lilac. There he is in third by 0.6 of a second to his favour. Chromatic in fifth, still a decent effort, and Haddad gets a penalty on the board just to finish the day off. Garrix crosses the line 6th, nobody crosses the line in 7th, but Haddad actually jumps up to 7th, considering how his race started. That's a fair effort. Garrix 8, nobody 9. Slick is going to cross the line in 10th place. There he is, and he will take the last championship point. There he goes by 0.9 of a second, nearly usurped nobody. And Wycombe's everybody on the lead lap at least. And yeah, he's not even, he's just let it coast. And why not? It's been a pretty bad day in the office. We still need you to finish, Wycombe's. Otherwise, otherwise we'll just stare at you weaving around. But there it is.
And he's not quite
No,
done.
I'm not going to finish. No.
Wouldn't it be gutting if the guy ahead of him had like 30 seconds of penalty and he missed out by 0.1 of a second?
By doing that, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. Well. Once again, a Renault on the top spot with Williams 2 and Ferrari 3. It's good to see the Reds towards the sharp end again. But wow, who can usurp the Italians in the French team? That's been quite a story. We're not even halfway through the season, I grant you, but it's really shaping up to be, a story for the Yellows.
Yeah, absolutely. They've done well. Tunisia, especially, has just performed so well. It's strange because the likes of Formula Danny, we know he has a pace, and we know the likes of Timp has a pace. Former esports drivers at the top of their game, but they're not able to challenge Tunisia. That's 5 wins now for David Tunisia. The McLaren boys are going to be so happy with P4 and 5. That's a great haul of points for both of them. That's 22 points. That's almost half what they already have. So that's not bad at all. And in fact, with all those points, they might jump up to 6th in the Constructors' Championship. So good job from them.
All to play for. Who wants to talk to us? Let us see.
We'll find out. Fastest lap of that race went to Daniele Hanna, so 109.7. To put that into perspective, Kodiak, that's faster than Formula Danny's pole time last year.
Well, yeah,
that's
that was 110.
That's what we're getting into in the race. So that's a very impressive lap time indeed. Most of the other drivers were a mid 1 minute for anyone.
Timp and Failer have made themselves available. Let's drag them over and have a word. And here they are. Let's have a word with Jan Failer. What a run for you. Shame you didn't quite translate into a podium, but how are you feeling after that one?
I'm super exhausted. I was sweating so much. It's a fun feature that I just noticed that Jeff, the race engineer in game, actually tells you how many penalties the guys in front and behind you have. So I knew that Mustafa only had 3 seconds time penalty, and I was like, okay, I need to stay within outside of 3 second gap, and in the final lap he caught me, unfortunately. But I will look into it. Maybe I can get 1 penalty appealed. Maybe, I don't know. There's still hope, but P4 is still an amazing result, so we can fight.
Great. So you're quite confident moving forward then?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I said after Baku that my pace is there, and I just have to deliver the results. And today was a good step forward into that direction. And yeah, maybe it's a podium, maybe not. I guess for now it's not. If it stays no podium today, then it will come this season.
Awesome. Glad to hear the optimism there, Jan. Great effort. Well done. And a decent haul of points from the McLaren pair as well. Tino Naukalinen. Hello, Timp. How are you feeling after that one? It looked like you had a fair shot, but towards the end, either you kind of settled for second or that the pace wasn't quite there. How are you feeling after that one?
I'm pretty pissed about losing the win, to be fair, but I think I know I should be happy, but I'm still not really happy about PT, but David was really good today, so nothing I can do against that. Like, we were so even on pace, so yeah. Yeah,
well, I mean, I was keeping an eye on the gap, and it just barely changed, with the exception of pit stops. It's the only time that actually forced a change in the, in the actual gap between the pair of you, and it was just under 2 seconds all race long.
To be fair, I knew about David penalty in the, I don't know which lap was it, because I was on Discord call with Trent. He just told me that David has penalty now, and literally straight after that, I got my second warning. I was like, oh no, there's no way this is happening.
Oh no!
And then I think I lost the race because of the the old super sub runners, because I was on DRS on David, and then when we called off the Gerks and White Lilac, I lost the DRS on that time. So yeah, I lost too much time behind them, and that's pretty much decided race. But I really enjoyed it. That first race after coming from esports, so yeah, second place.
Great effort, well done. We look forward to how your Season 1 unfold. But once again, David Tenito, welcome to you in the commentary box. Great win, but it didn't look like you. It looked like you had to work for that one.
No, absolutely. Team today was insanely fast, so huge congratulations to him. And then I would like to say just that I'm really happy for my quali lap. I'm really happy of it. And then again, a really good race. A really good pace. We were going so fast, and then I'm literally so happy because at the start of the season I didn't think of all these results, so I'm so happy. And again, huge congratulations to team.
Great stuff, and looks like it's. Are you quite confident of maintaining this momentum for both you and Daniele going through the season? I mean, it's looking very, very strong for the Renault team so far.
Yeah, I'm really happy also for the team because we are literally leading the races. We are
Carry
leading,
on.
so I'm also happy for the team.
Awesome. What more can be said about that? I think now's as good a time as any to wrap this one up. Thank you very much to our spectators that have been with us throughout the stream. A great pleasure to have you with us. Thank you very much to Hamish Stopwith for tolerating me in the commentary box. It's great pleasure to have you with me, sir.
As always, it's great to be able to commentate on these fantastic races with some of the best drivers we have to offer.
Oh, isn't it just amazing driving going on, amazing racing from our drivers. Thank you very much to all of them, and thank you to our sponsors, of course, with Apex Online Racing. Without them, we couldn't continue to grow. So come back to us next week and we will have more AOR action. Thank you very much, and good night.